Yes, welcome back. If you're just joining us, it is the press, and once again, I'm happy to know that you were there and to let you know that I have two of my guests already in the studio. And I did tell you that today we're taking a focus on education analysis is on Nigeria's education primary to tertiary level. There's a need for us to take a look holistically at what is going on, especially as report reaching us says that Waec actually recorded its worst result in 5 years. There's a need for us to find out, what is actually going on. I did a little bit of research before the show started to find out the determinants of poor educational performance. I got the international reason, and I got a few from Nigeria. The reasons why we have situations like this, especially for senior secondary school students who have learned from the JSS1 up to the final examination, and of course we're posting what we are posting. It is really heartbreaking. Now, the result released yesterday indicated that out of 1,969,313 candidates who sat for the examination, only 744,545 candidates representing 38.32% obtained credits and above a minimum of 5 subjects, including English language and mathematics. It will be recalled that during this year's exam, some schools adopted the computer-based test method, while others opted for the paper-based test method. Now, the figure represents a 2.17% decline compared to 11.92% recorded in the 2024 edition of the same examination, where 1,937,365 candidates registered for the examination from 23,554 recognized secondary schools in Nigeria. However, 1,969,313 candidates sat for the examination. So there you have it. Worst Waec result or WASC result ever recorded in 5 years. Of course, we need to talk about such occurrence in our educational sector, this morning. So I have my guest in the house. He is a friend, indeed more than a friend, one who takes time from his very tight schedule to ensure that he represents anytime we call him to help us, with our front pages to discuss issues as they affect us as Nigerians. This morning, Dr. Suleiman Abdullah, PhD, is a public affairs analyst. Apart from that, is a media and leadership consultant, is also has several degrees in different fields of discipline, is a senior citizen who has worked across various fields with tremendous wealth of experience. Is here this morning. Dr. Suleiman Abdullah, we appreciate you for being on the show this morning again. Taking time to be here, we really do appreciate. We want to take a look at our educational system. It is important that we do, as we also will try to find out determinants of poor educational performance in Nigeria. Before we came on air, I told you I did a little bit of research. I was trying to find out internationally and of course in Nigeria why we have poor performances in education. I was a little bit shocked because I got different reasons why students wouldn't perform very well. Internationally, I discovered abuse could lead to poor performance, sexual abuse could lead to poor performance, drug addiction, alcoholism, financial problems internationally could lead to poor performance in education. But back home in Nigeria, I discovered that poor infrastructure, addressing teacher shortages, inadequate funding, and outdated curriculum could also be could lead to poor performance. But before we delve into some of those reasons, I really would appreciate your reaction as one who is into education yourself. Why from the top do you think that we would have such very terrible results first in 5 years?
Practically, I will talk as an academician. There is no two ways to it. If you don't read, you can pass. You have to read. If you read, you pass. Nobody reads his own, her own book and fail an exam. It's a lie. No. Because the people that marked the Waec, they didn't know your name, they didn't know your face, they didn't know where you're coming from. It's not a relationship between teacher and a classroom, or a lecturer and a female student that will say, look, you don't want to see my face because you have toasted me once and I refuse to go. That's why he is failing me. No. You see, let me practically about Waec. It's an exam that is so interesting that's supposed to be appreciated in this country, because it is the bridge between the secondary to the tertiary institution. At this point in life, it is a factor academically that determines the future of any child in Nigeria. Because number one, we have to look at the constructive advantage of education in any society, particularly looking at where we find ourselves today in the global arena, Nigeria. We must give serious attention to education because it's the bedrock of any developing nation. Research from institutions, the quality of those researches gives you good and quality input to what? To the mainstream of your indices of development. 2, education shapes the psychology and sociology, way of life of the citizens. If you want to have a crime-free society, you want people to listen to leaders and be good followers, you must be rigid in what your academic policy, educational policy, from primary, secondary, and particularly in secondary. That is where you get them young, because you are looking at children within the age of 15 to 17 years. Then now, going back to the point, the worst in 5 years, it is practical. Children of these days, the problem that, look, let me take it one after the other. There are enormous problems. One, children of these days, students of these days don't read. And they don't know what it means to read. The more you read, the more you know. The more you read, the more you learn. And the more you become a better citizen, in a better position, you're better informed. If you don't read, you are just staying in one place. And the world today is dynamic. It's moving. Every second new discovery is being made with the aid of science and technology. So now, we are still talking about Waec. The whole world will be just laughing at Nigeria. What are we doing? Our government, number one, the culture of reading has been totally eliminated from our institutions. Reading habit. In those days, you see students, both science and art students, reading George's Hamilton Chase, reading Pesetta's books, all, you understand now. There are a lot of, writers, you see different books you're interested, you borrow from one person, go and read. Within 3 days, you have finished a book of more than 500 pages. Within 3 days. But you see, it gives you joy. From any angle they take you from, academically, you are there to respond. Let me tell you. You see, I will tell you this from my own practical experience as an undergraduate. In university, at level 300, I was a student of mass communication English combined honors. At that point in time, English literature, we are talking about English literature, we have African literature. So I have a carryover in one of those courses, to be sincere with you. I think it was English literature. And I need to read and pass the African literature. No, sorry, the carryover was in African literature. Now here is European literature. I have more than 15 novels to read within a semester, because I have graduated from level 2 to level 300, and now approaching level 400, which is the last year I have to start. I finish my education in the university. I think I thought there's a miracle I could do without reading these novels. One of an elderly student, colleague in the class, he's a lecturer from Ghana, Suleiman. He said, my guy, come here. One good evening, I was coming back from the school, from the classroom. He said, he was reading. He said, my friend, come here. I went to him, he said, look, you are going to have another carryover.
If you don't read.
If you don't read, there's no miracle. You have to read.
Don't calm down.
See, look,
and most of the books as monsters. They're not going to bite you.
15
Open them and read them. Start from page 1.
You cannot pass except you have prepared not to graduate from this university. If you don't read, you will not pass. The spirits follow me. Follow me. I said, look, Suleiman,
you have to sit down to read.
Let me assure you, less than 1 month, I have finished 15 novels.
Because you were determined.
I was determined. I was more informed. I now create the habit of reading. I go to hostel. I borrow from friends that have colleagues that have these classmates that have these novels. I was able to read these novels from pages to pages, and I was able to pass my exam with critical analysis of each novel. So now the problem here, students don't want to read. They want to pass exams.
Talking about reading, talking about, I mean, telling you now, you've told us your story. We all have our stories. Personally, I had to build I had to, like, okay, fine. Probably because I had a library in my house. Now, when my father travels, it buys gifts. Nonetheless, it brings back gifts for children. But the bulk of the gifts he brings back from his wild travels all over the world, because he was a well-traveled man, were books. And he built a library in the house. So we had a big library, so we could read. So that the culture of reading, the culture of speaking well, the culture of comportment, most of these things I learned from books, even before I heard teachers teach them to me. So the culture of reading started from my house, and it was imbibed into us by my father, who had traveled the world. Now, talking about reading, where do you think the problem lies? Is it from the foundation? Because we're taking a look from primary to tertiary education. If we go back to primary school, because I remember then we had a reading club. I formed a reading club in primary school, where we now exchange pace setters. James Hadley Chase novels, what do you call it, those romance novels, and of course our books which we read. It started from primary school, and the culture followed me to secondary school, and the only people you will find around me are people who read, people who are serious with education. Let us backtrack now to primary school, the foundation where the children starts. How important is it for parents to build a solid foundation from the primary level, which will transcend into secondary, and of course, which is a purview to what is expected into tertiary?
There is this symbiotic relationship that used to happen between the teacher and the parent, that today is no longer there. Educated or uneducated family will forward the child to the school. If he fails, my son came last, maybe he was not he came with a very poor performance result. Well, the problem, the parent will go and ask the teacher, and the child will tell you, your child doesn't have book, he don't read, he plays a lot. He gives you the practical analysis of what lead the child to poor academic performance over the last term. So now, how many parents do that? Parents now have that relationship with teacher to pay them to pass their children. So now they have killed totally the zeal of reading, the approach to academic excellence, that is reading. Parents have killed it because they thought, look, what is there today is just to tip the teacher, let pass this child from one class to the other, let him graduate at the age of 13 from secondary school, let him graduate from university at the age of maybe 20 years. So if the quality is down there, if an empty vessel that have no content of what it should be. So the value of any sugarcane is sweetness. The sweetness is no longer sugarcane. The value of being an academic is for you to have the academic substance to interact with the trending changes of your environment and be able to fix correctly at any point of time you find yourself. You should be flexible enough, you understand now, to interact, mingle with individuals and group of people, regardless of of any circumstance. But now the problem here is that, look, you even look at it, parents want their children to go to school closer to them. Okay. I could remember in the village, you see an old woman that she could not read and write. She look, child, bring your book. She will ask her son or her daughter to bring her book. She will know the difference between good and wrong.
Exactly.
Then say, look, she will now count out of 5. You have 3 wrong, cancelled, and 2 good. She will say you didn't perform. So
that's an illiterate parent.
Yeah, an illiterate parent. But now you have it. The parent now help their children to do their assignment. The children, the parents don't have the time for their children. They don't go through their books. They only buy books and say, look, my child go to one of the most expensive schools and she will have a lot of books for them. What are they using the books for? And let me tell you, most of the secondary schools you see now don't have equipped libraries. Most private secondary schools you have in Abuja don't have libraries, and they don't have libraries.
As a student, as a child, my primary school we had a library.
A library.
Secondary school we had a library. Even in school.
That is it. And go to universities today and go to even the advanced level. Most students don't go to read in the library. They don't make use of library. In fact, there was a student I asked. He said, "Look, I spent 4 years and I graduated from university. I have not kept the library. Then how did you graduate? How did you graduate? What is the benefit to it? Because you don't know how to search for a book, you don't know where to go to a catalog, how to borrow a book from the library, how to return it. All these are in the student handbook, and now you are telling me you didn't make use of the library. Then if you didn't make use of the library, then how did you manage to graduate from such an university? And number 2, that tells you that, look, you are trained to be a researcher as a graduate. Then how do you come up with your project? You see, the problem here is that, look, that relationship between parent and the school and the teachers is no longer
from the primary level.
And if you look at it, children today spend most of their time on social media. Could you imagine in those days, look, a mother will tell you, go to your room, take your book and read. You are not going out anywhere.
Now we're taking a look at how social media influences or determines poor educational performance. It's important for us to take a look at that.
So most children, you see them before, you see, most children spend time under the television. But now with this handset tab within their reach, children, instead of them reading, they spend most of their time up to 1, 2 midnight in what? In net. What are they doing? Nothing. Watching films
instead of reading.
Try to see the latest car that they are not going to buy in the next 20 years. The latest building in Abuja. You understand now? The richest man, the richest player. Then tell me. And the concept of Bet Nigeria has also manipulated their way of reading. And look, they are only looking for how to win money. You see, let me tell you, what brought me and you here? We are discussing today's education. Without education, I will not be here. I may not be the best out of within my colleague, but let's speak it generally. One thing made me outstanding: those educational qualities guarantee me I should be here in whatever you assess me. But the problem here is that, look, you will never get it right without reading. At this point in time, if I'm going to write a Waec, going back to write Waec, I will sit down and make sure I read.
And make sure you read.
Most of these children spend their time on what? On handsets. And even if you give them the assignment now, they will go and ask my Uncle Google. And they will copy direct and send back.
Without the detail.
I have lectured in a university whereby even when they copy regularly with all the computer errors. You see it there. As reference, they don't even know how to use it. And let me tell you, the issue here that, look, parents are responsible for all these menaces, academic problems. Why? Because at the age of 7, you see parents start petting children with handsets. No!
In your opinion, when is the right time for a child to have access to a telephone or a handset? In your opinion, as a father and born in the system, when do you think is the right time? Because it is important for us to discuss this, because in my house I monitor what they see what they watch. In my house, once it is 10 p.m., you submit, if you're not doing anything on your phone, if you're not doing any assignment, all the telephones are sent to my room on the makeup table. You drop it there, because I don't want a situation where I wake up at night, because it has happened. I wake up as late as probably 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. and I see children on their tabs, I see children on their telephone. The moment I discovered that, so it's a standard rule. Once it's 10 a.m., without any prompt, whether you're my child, you're not my child, you are a niece or a nephew, you just walk into my room, you drop your handsets there, and in the night, I usually wake up to check around and make sure they're sleeping. And that is exactly what I want. But these days, you see parents spend millions buying telephone and tabs for children without controlling what they watch, what they see, and making sure that that technology is properly used to enhance their life educationally. So it is important for us to send out this message to let parents know that one way that we probably got this result that we have is because children are not well monitored.
Yes, you see, individual differences and approaches to this issue of when a child should be given a handset or free to the usage of handset. If you look at it, it all depends on what? The relationship between parent and children. But averagely, it should be after secondary school, because that is a point where you need to guide a child to. Because the age or the period of his adolescence is what? Is within the issue 16, 17, and 18. So after 18 years, you understand now, you have guided him to a point of what? Of no return. You tell him, look, I can't take the decision on my own. But you have to tell him the consequence of what?
Of your action, yes.
Action in the nearest future. Because why? I will say, in my own position, a child needed to be guided after secondary school, at least when he is midway into his university program. That's why you allow him, because he has no pass his Waec, NECO, and he's already in teacher institution. He has known how to interact with the entire world. That's the universe. That's from the concept of university, is from universe. So now you allow that child as midway into his university program. You allow him, let him be free. He should be able to choose the program he wants to read, his course, everything. From that point, allow him. Let him know that, look, if he got it wrong, it's not your problem, it's his problem.
Now it's strange, you know why? Because I've read I've read on magazines, I've watched on YouTube. Now, these stars that our children, follow on social media, I've heard them, most of them say their children do not have access to their work. When they ask question about, do your children know what you do? These international stars, especially the American superstars, music, film, they say, no, they don't have phone. They're not allowed on social media. They don't have access to the internet. Meanwhile, our children right here in Nigeria, in Africa, they kill themselves, they buy data, they stay up late at night to watch Drake, to watch Nicki Minaj, to watch movies or videos, or try to follow the lifestyles of the rich and the famous, while their children are not even on social media. Some of their kids don't even know what they do. So it's important for you to know, as a student, if you're watching right now, those that you follow, those international stars you follow, their children are not even allowed to own phones or go on social media. They don't even know what their parents do. They just know that they're successful. Now, if you're just joining us, this is The Press. We're going to take a short break now, so we can open the phone lines when we return. If you're waiting to call, this is your moment. Let's take that break, and when we return, the conversation continues. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're still here, and I know you're there waiting and waiting. Between myself and my guests, we've had 18 missed calls already. So the phone lines are open right now, so I can pick your calls now. Please call in and be part of the conversation. We're taking a look at worst Waec or results in 5 years analysis of Nigeria's educational system primary to tertiary level. And my guest is still in the house, Dr. Suleiman Salihu Abdullah, PhD, is a public affairs analyst. Before we went on the break, we're trying to understand, starting from primary to secondary, where we are right now, we're yet to get to tertiary. We're trying to find out the determinants of poor educational performance in Nigeria, especially with the latest worst ever Waec or Waec result in 5 years. English and mathematics was just on the floor. It was a very, very terrible result. Parents and of course stakeholders have cried. This poor performance has been heartbreaking since the results unfolded, and we're trying to, right here in the studio, we're trying to find out why we have such poor performances. And of course parents have been fingered, as well as students who do not have their priorities straight in terms of education. Now, before the line, okay, we have a caller already. Good morning. Hello.
Please note that the caller wants you to pay.
Okay, so we missed that first call. Please keep the call coming. Now, I want to find out the place of poor infrastructure and in this particular problem that we just got now. While we were at break, you did mention something very interesting that I really want you to share with our viewers this morning and those watching in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. The place of poor infrastructure and of course your take on it.
You see, academically, if you look at it, we are third world country. The issue of poor infrastructure doesn't determine much the quality of education or examination result.
Why so?
Because if you look at it in those days in 80s, the habit formation of reading and have the passion, you have the passion for what? For education, to know more, to learn more. How many students do you see, cramming and memorizing quotations from philosophers and great, politicians or heroes of those days? You see people quoting Aristotle, Immanuel Kant, Friedrich Nietzsche, Aristotle, Karl Marx. You see great politicians. This guy, the founder of democracy in US. You see, look, the issue here is that look. Children of these days doesn't look at infrastructure. Infrastructure level is not what matters. We have slogans that keeps you going in those days. We have what we call TDB, till daybreak. You have to read till daybreak if you prepare examination. We have a spot where we read in the school, we call it See Never Dry. You see, it is only filled with students. They are always going there to read. If people are coming, students are also going there to read.
Yes.
You understand? We have substance we take to make you sit from maybe from 12 o'clock till daybreak if you are prepared for exam. And it is not alcohol, it's not anything. You take Cola Nut, you take Nescafe. You understand now? And
you put your faith in water. I did that.
I did that.
Let me tell you why I didn't take all those things you said, because I reacted to Nescafe and Cola Nut. I reacted badly to it, so I had to resort to
putting my legs, feet in.
I did it. I'm saying here, I did it. That's in a house.
That is it.
To make sure I read TDB from 12 to 5 a.m. in the morning.
Tell you, and look at it. Students do design their what the timetable for reading in the house.
I did that too.
These are all
from primary school, secondary, and followed me to university.
Let me tell you,
seriously,
you have to have your reading point.
Scout honor.
Let me see. I have my reading point in the house. You have your locker, a table, and a chair. The moment it's social time, you are there reading. Nobody disturbs you, and it gives you honor. It gives your parent joy.
Even in the library, to the extent the librarians would say, no, she's coming. I had a permanent spot in the library where I read, and they knew that was my spot, and they protected it. And when I come like a few minutes later, I said, where you did since now, So we need to let them know it's not magic, it's not rocket science. You have to pay the price.
During holiday vacations, we have libraries within our local government. How many students do they go to that library to read?
But we don't have such libraries anymore. In the main then we had we had a functioning library at Forestry where everyone will go to read.
And there you make good friends, you meet lifetime friends and associates. Look, in reading. And let me tell you, finally, you look at it again. How many students today during holiday do visit a fellow student based on academic reputation.
Exactly. We don't have that. If you've done that, call me and let me know. Or when we post, go on YouTube and drop your comments there to say, indeed, during the holidays, you still pursue your educational standard in terms of learning with your friends.
These are local infrastructure we have with our friends. And today we are here discussing it. There's no magic to it. Let me tell you, I think Canada is the one now. Last 3 months, I saw a research that Canada are now moving from what? From the electronic means of education to what? To the traditional means of education.
To make sure they get it right.
Right, get it right. So all these steps are not giving you result.
Please call in and be part of the conversation. We had 18 calls before the break, and now the phone lines are opened. I can receive 1 call. Please call in, probably because we're not talking politics. Please call in and be part of the conversation. Now, let us take a look at addressing teachers' shortages. Do you think this by any means is a determinant for what has happened with these results that we have? In terms of teachers shortage or
the
shortages?
Quality of teachers and teacher shortage is also a very good determinant, because poor academic system, poor results, poor teachers. So now if you look at it, out of 1,979 candidates, then how many of them that pass? Less than 35%.
Yeah, less than that is 38%.
38%.
Yes, 38%.
Now, out of this 38%, only let's say, look, only 10% will be able to move to teacher institutions. And with this orientation, they move it to what? To teacher institution. Going to teacher institution, it drops. This quality of education from secondary, it dropped because they look, I'm already there, I'm now a big boy. Understand now? They form club, they join every sort of club, friends, associates, they move around as big boys, and they thought that they are already there, and they are not there. You know nothing. You make noise, a lot of noises that look like already in university. You have your life to yourself. You are always all 24 hours on tap. You are not doing any research. You are not reading anything. And let me tell you, they copied in exam. Most of these students, you see them with one paper or the other.
Chukuli?
You understand now? You see them they write in their dresses,
on their tie,
on their ties, everything.
Yes.
Look,
put it in their
serious student. If you read and prepare for exam, you are at the front, and you not like anybody to distract your attention, because you have something that is flowing.
You're at the front. My name is Anire Binitie. I went to school with some students. If you're watching, this is my story. I sit at the front. If I tell a lie, come on YouTube, and when we post, please drop the comment if I'm telling a lie. I sit at the front because why? I have prepared for the exams. I sit 2 seats and you have people behind, 2 seats before me. I'm sitting at the front, just me. I write and I'm out because I read. Like what we're saying here, there's no magic. You have to pay the price. You have to read. Please go on, sir.
So the issue here is that, look, the concept of what? Cheating, examination malpractice. Even the family, the parent, and the children, they prepare and organize perfectly how their children should be assisted during examination to pass. At that secondary school level, parents are teaching teachers to pass their children. If your child fails at primary school level, they go back to fight with teachers that look, their child is not performing, and they pay heavily. And that's why most of the private schools tell you, look, pass these children. There's nothing like position, first position, second position. No, it's average.
We have a call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name, please, and where are you calling from?
I'm Collins from Kobe State.
Please go ahead, Collins.
Please, I want us to look into one thing.
Go ahead, Collins.
If you look at it from that kind of angle of 1980 something debate, there are so much difference in the sense that this particular dispensation, this 21st century, our teachers, our students, our children, they are not encouraged. Let's look to one perspective now. Getting to 300 level in BSc and international relations. I didn't have father, I didn't have mother again. I have to cater for my school fees. As I'm talking to you now, we have finished the first semester exam. Almost, if some people are registering for second semester now. I paid the school fees of 73,000 something apart from exam fees last semester. As I'm talking to you now, the school fees have increased to almost 90 something exam fees. Another tuition fee are not included in it. Now, if we are somebody that is in school and the parents are teachers, and maybe they are having one or two in the higher institution, and as we are now, they are not paid. How do you encourage the the parents, not less of the children? If I am not somebody that maybe God has blessed in one way or the other through my parents, what they have on grant for me before, although my father have a lot of land, I'm a farmer, let's be sincere to ourselves. People that doesn't have such angle to take care of themselves, how would they be encouraged?
So that's the question he's asking, and that is also one of the determinants to poor educational performance, which is financial problem, which he has pointed, Collins has pointed out here. Do you think somehow we can relate what has happened to this?
The great man that become great doesn't find it easy to become great. Everything has a price to pay for it. In the course of my undergraduate program, I have once joined a cow trailer from Kanu to my village.
Just to get money for education?
For my education. You understand now? Look at, I will come down, see my whole body will be smelling of what? Of your
dog.
Dog. You're right. So you see, the problem here is that, look, in any challenges in life, if you are determined to go to get a goal, you must be resilient, you must be perseverance, and you must be steadfast. You understand now? And you must be sincere. Look, the goal is there. That is why in one of the books of Brain Tracy, he said, look, failing forward. You can fail today, but if you are determined and you are focused, believe me, you get there.
You get there.
Abraham Lincoln got there, you understand, without looking back at where he was coming from. So look, you get there. You should be determined. What he is saying, we are all part of it. We struggle to get to where we are today. You understand now? When my colleagues and my friends are busy, buying expensive bouquet, I was spending my money on education.
Let's take another call. Hello.
It's same Collins. I think my card finished on that blue.
Okay, Collins. You still have more to say?
Okay. Yeah. What I'm saying in essence is before I lost the call due to my card shortage of the thing. If somebody is in this angle now, like I happen to know one or two persons that registered their Waec by themselves, and all these things we are not being catered for. How do you settle down to read? And I want to emphasize mostly our federal government and the state aspect of the thing. They are not encouraging the student at all. Salaries are not paid, both from the federal down to the state. All these things are some of the factors that are affecting the student. Some students are not even encouraged at all. How do they meet up? If you look to our politicians now, even their children are being taken from here to go abroad and study, both in their nursery down to the university level. It doesn't encourage anybody. No, not until I mention something of, was it last week? I say until our politicians stop taking their students abroad for studies, else our education cannot be getting right.
Okay, that's Collins the second time. We appreciate you, Collins. If you're watching, let's give a chance to others to call in and be part of the conversation. Please do call in before our time runs out so you can have your say on this particular topic that we're discussing. Please go on.
You see, Collins is talking about government intervention in the educational sector. All this budget, because if the parents will have PTA, that's a Parent Teachers Association. You see, if parents are on their toes, to tell the teacher, look, we need the best and the quality education. Believe me, honestly, the teacher will give their best.
Their best.
Because in those days, they say, look, the reward of a teacher is in the heaven.
Not now.
If you look at it, because
please, let us take this call. Good morning. What's your name, please, and where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Mazu Korafo. I'm calling from Aruchuku in Adjust. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Thanks for calling.
When we look at this story now, well, first of all, let me congratulate our detectives. At least they have tried. What a man can do better than myself, even both boss and guests. So, I know the ladies will be laughing. Yes, not only to carry 9 months, at least they are doing better than their men, but congratulations to them. But the government is that there is need for us to accommodate other sports too.
If they win and bring glory to the nation. So we're going to have more houses giving out, more honors, more money. I didn't tell you. I'm changing profession now. I'm going to sports. Okay, go ahead. Let's focus on our topic.
My own advice to all those sports people, please try and get paper qualification and back up your sports. Because when you go on retirement, that is when you need that paper qualification, at least use it and at least find something doing as a consultant or at least lecturer as a researcher to help you. Not based on that sports alone. Paper qualification is very good to back it up. Now, on the Waec result, gentlemen and ladies, look, I've been saying it down without number. We are only interested politics, economy, politics. Ghana will tell you green economy, 24 hours economy. Nigeria will tell you black, yellow, green. But the question is this. Education, we are not taking care of it at all. The basic education, which is the primary to before coming to right is to get the higher education. We are not taking care of it. Because when you go back, primary school teachers on strike. You spend number of days in the house. Children will say, don't go and be doing Binitie. You come back to that. How will you pass? Textbooks are in the market. Go and ask booksellers, how many people have gone to buy books from January to date? September is around the corner. They will give teachers to write the books. They say to parents, go and buy books. You will not buy books. Libraries are there. Nobody gets. Have you ever these people have been doing their program? Have you gone to commission or to cover any library ceremony when you open a library? Fine. That is Nigeria. And library is the key where you can come and keep books, bring books, publishers, bring books. Children will go in there even during this long vacation. Children will be going to library and they are not covenant to do it. But now everybody is playing Yahoo, playing game, playing all sorts of things. People about the books. People will tell you, go and learn trade, go and learn sewing, go and learn manicure, pedicure. After learning manicure, pedicure, you have a lot of time. When you finish it, what will you be doing?
So that's the question. When you finish all of that, what will you be doing? So callers have a lot to talk about on this, at least those that have called in. But because of time, let us take a look at outdated curriculum, because this too has been fingered as one of probably the reason why we have such poor performance, again from primary to secondary school. As an academician, one in the system, do you agree that we need to change our style of teaching? Of course, do we need to update our curriculum? Take a look at that from primary to secondary school.
You see, it's just we are good in cut and paste system of policy. Nothing wrong with our curriculum. We change from from 1 to from 5 of those old styles as a junior secondary school to senior secondary school. Now, what are we saying? From 5 years, which before we have what they call it, primary 6, primary 4 up to primary 4. Then you have a secondary school, like you call it a senior school. All those things. So now all the system coming back to what? Primary, secondary, university. That is 6, 5, 4. Now we have 6, 3, 3, 4. And we are saying still curriculum, and the system of our curriculum educational, we are now talking of a computerized Waec, all those things. Look, Is this the problem? Let's address the problem. Get sound teachers, qualified teachers, pay them correctly, monitor their services, put them on their toes, let them give the best, and bring better academic infrastructure of the 21st century. It's a very scientific and robust environment, serene environment for education. Now, if you have it, believe me honestly, the child will be happy going to school. Even if he is there, if he don't have the intention of reading, by the time you see others, look, this environment has been secured specifically for learning, he will be forced to learn. That is environmental impact. Then, again, if you look at it, let's be sincere with ourselves. Most parents spend their times in buying what they don't need for their children. You spend 70,000, 100,000 for Christmas, Xmas, Easter, Salah, and all this. How many thousands have you spent in buying books for children? You buy the latest large screen, television that worth 1.6 million, but as your child has no book that worth 200,000 in the house. Then next thing that, look, we don't have mentoring again in education. In those days, you see headmasters, teachers have one or two students they are mentoring. They go home with them, come back with them. They say, look, this child is being mentored by this teacher, by that headmaster, by that lecturer. In the university those days, you go to university, you see students that are in the bill queue of lecturers. The lecturer will monitor them, look at their performance, and tell them you should have to read, and this how to read, and how to write. And let again, who is now tutoring our children how to read and write? Exams. Reading is a different thing. You must tell a child how to read and assimilate. We have what we call reading, we have scanning, we have skimming, and then how do we read to recall what we have read before? You understand now? How do you assess the core materials to your field of interest? Children just want to become pilot, want to become medical doctors, want to become lawyers, but they are not reading for it. In fact, go to hospital, you see quack doctors, go to court, you see quack lawyers, and go to even the media, you see students that will find it difficult, and journalists will find it difficult to give you a constructive headline.
Very true.
You see, this is why we have everything is falling from E to Z. And that is why we have unqualified legislators, representatives, representing us at that level. So people will be there for 4 years, they will not move any motion, they will not support any motion, because they find it difficult to express themselves.
They just show up.
Most of them are not even there. They just send their attendants, get their money, and go back to seat. They are still representing you and I.
But who is at fault at that?
Our educational system is so terrible and so bad.
Okay, as we begin to round up, I know students are watching, the results are in, or should I say the results are out. This is the worst Waec result that Waec has posted in 5 years. It is alarming, I tell you. We just have 38% having 5 credit out of the 1,969,313. Like we said, we don't even know how many can use their results to gain admission into tertiary institution. As a roundup, I want you to say something to our students who are watching on the way forward to ensure that we do not have such repeat itself in our next examination.
The only way to it, you want to be a serious citizen and a responsible citizen, you just have to read. If you read, you know more and you learn more and you'll be better informed and you'll be a good citizen. And believe me honestly, the sky is your limit. And never stop reading in your life. What make Obama who is he today is reading. The first black leader in America to lead America is Obama. And let me tell you, Obama never stopped reading. Up to today, Obama is reading. You understand now? So I have said it in one of my outing here, look, what regenerates the neurosis, the brain, that keeps you going, is not amount of multivitamin or food you take. It's the level of your reading
And knowledge
assimilation. As you continue to read, you understand now, you continue to renew all cells in your body.
And grow. Time is not our friend. We've been told the time is up. We do hope that you picked something from our discussion today as a student. If you're one of those who wrote the examination and came short of your expectation, sit back and find out where you are. Sit back and find out where the problem is and try to address them. Parents, please get involved in the educational life of your children. In quote, it is very important. Monitor what they see on social media. Take their phones from 10 a.m. and ensure that they read if they must, using the tablets or the telephone that you've given to them. Education is very important. We're told that education is the only legacy that parents can bequeath to their children. I still believe in that. You arm your child with education, they will take over the world. Thanks for watching. For those of you who called in, we appreciate you. I want to appreciate my guest once again, Dr. Suleiman Salihu Abdullah, PhD. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Until next time, of course, tomorrow is the date, Thursday, Friday. Ensure you watch the show because we come Monday to Friday every day on this channel. Make sure you follow the show and call in and be part of the conversation. Until next time, my name is Anire Binitie. I leave you. Stay positive and don't forget to keep your head up.